The Bullhorn is all things regarding the Lethbridge Bulls of the Western Canadian Baseball League. The Bullhorn has the latest news on the team, interviews with coaches and players, signings, game recaps, and updates on all the events happening at Spit Stadium. The Bullhorn is your place for all things baseball in Lethbridge. Get your horns up for the Bullhorn, the Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report.
All right, the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report up and running again. A little bit of a revamp per se. We got some internal, what's the proper word I'm looking for? Some internal renovations happening. So that's why this is at the palatial studios of my basement being done today. So with the Bullhorn up and running nonetheless. Real good show today. We got McCoy Rippentrop. He's joining us from his JUCO down in Kansas. He's going to talk about his first year coming out to play for Lethbridge, what he's excited about. We also have Kvame Pilar, ex-Toronto Blue Jay, retired Toronto Blue Jay great. Stumbled over my tongue a little bit here in my basement for some reason. That doesn't much matter. But yeah, Kvame Pilar, he joined us. He was on a little road trip from Regina to Moose Jaw yesterday. We had a couple of small reception problems. I guess cell phone service between Moose Jaw and Regina isn't the best at times apparently, but we got through it and had a nice little a few laughs and a good conversation with Kvame Pilar, who's joining us for the Canadian Legends of Baseball Gala on May the 27th. So he's come to talk a little about that and some baseball memories he has of playing with Toronto Blue Jays. And then to wrap things up, we had Kvame joining us to talk about the future of Lethbridge baseball. It's a little history lesson that some stuff that I didn't know about baseball days of yours and of your, not yours, baseball days of yore, and then what the partnership with Say Lethbridge and stuff that's going to happen with Lethbridge Bulls and Henderson Stadium in the very near future. So it's a really fun show. I'm glad we could be part of it. And once again, thanks to McCoy, Kevin, and Kevin for joining us here in the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report. We will start it off with Mr. Kvame Pilar right after this commercial break.
Canada has produced some incredible baseball stories, and this spring, those stories come to Lethbridge. Join us for the Legends of Canada Baseball Gala, featuring one of Canada's most exciting Major League stars, Kvame Pilar. A night of stories, celebration, and Canadian baseball history. Part of the Canadian Grand Slam Baseball Showcase. Reserve your seat now.
Welcome back to Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report on Rogers TV and on the Maple Leaf Baseball Network's YouTube channel. Today we're joined by retired Major Leaguer and ex-Toronto Blue Jay co-host of Bluebird Territory podcast and the newest member of the Rogers Sportsnet broadcast team, Mr. Kvame Pilar. How are you doing today, Kevin?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing, Kevin. Hey, you had a great game last night. How'd that feel in the old Skydome Rogers Center there?
Yeah, I always feel like opening day is a little, for the players at least, is like a little bit of a relief when it's over because it takes you out of your kind of normal routine. You have all the, rightfully celebrate baseball starting again. And obviously the Blue Jays had a ton to celebrate last year, hanging those two banners up there. And it's just a huge deal for the fans, to know that baseball is back, but also to kind of reflect on last season and look forward to a new one. And it ended up being a great game, obviously really dominated by Kevin Gausman's ability to just, slow the game down and do what he's done his whole career and be dominant. And then, the Blue Jays found a little spark late and was able to push a couple runs across. And ultimately a walk-off base hit on opening day is kind of like a dream scenario for every fan that was there last night.
You speak about opening day, and if you go back to maybe your start in baseball, you go from T-ball to Little League, right on through into college, and then obviously into Major League. There's always an opening day right through. Yesterday's probably the first time in a real long time where you didn't have a uniform on for a baseball opening day.
Yeah, I put that out on my my Twitter account, and then my wife actually texted me, I think yesterday before opening day, and she kind of had those same kind of thoughts, that it's kind of weird for both of us, as long as we have known each other, and there was at least opening day in college, and then obviously opening day through the minor leagues, and then through my 11-year major league career, she was a part of all that, and yeah, it was weird for both of us to kind of really, I think it really hit us yesterday that baseball is officially like over in terms of me wearing a uniform. But we have so much to look forward to. I was able to be part of my son's opening day last weekend, and that's kind of the baseball that I need to be a part of right now, and I love doing that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, you got drafted by the Jays, and you went right on through. And then 2013, you had your first call up. What was your like? Then wasn't an opening day, but what was your first maybe holy crap moment? You're in the big leagues. Like what set it apart and go, oh, this is the real deal now.
Yeah, honestly, it was arriving at the Rogers Center. I wasn't in big league camp, spring training the year I got called up. I still went to minor league camp. I think I went over for maybe a couple games on the big league side as a backup player. Never started a game for the big league team in spring training, and then all of a sudden I showed up. I crossed the border. It was my first time in Canada. It was my first time in Toronto. I showed up to the Rogers Center. Had no idea. I had no relationship with any guy on the team at that point. Had no idea even where the bathroom was when I got in the clubhouse. It was really just kind of like this holy shit moment for me. And then,
Yeah,
they didn't give me all the information on the phone. They're like, you're going to the big leagues. More than likely, you're probably going to be in the lineup. And then I saw my name in the lineup card, and we were facing the Boston Red Sox, and John Lester was on the mound. And then that was kind of like really the holy shit moment is when I stepped in the
yeah.
box, and it was primetime John Lester. And it was like, okay, you're going to find out real quick if you can handle big league pitching or not. And yeah, I found myself down 0-2 pretty quick. And then I guess the next moment was I hit this kind of line drive down the right field line, which wasn't really kind of typical of me, the profile of a player I was. I was more of a pull hitter, and I remember Shane Victorino like catching it like it was so easy, and he was like positioned over there, and then the guys were like, "Yeah, they know where you're gonna hit the ball before you know where you're gonna hit the ball," and I was like, "Wow, what an introduction on my first day in the big leagues."
That's quite funny. You talk about your first time in Canada, and Deanne, my wife, she's a big Jays fan. She's always wondered about guys when in 2015 when you guys got rolling there, and she's always wondering about when you knew you played in Canada. But when did it become like this is Canada's team? It's not because baseball is really regional. But the whole like if you're in New York, you're a New York person, Boston, like you said. But baseball is very regional. But in Canada, when you guys got going and the whole country's behind you, what was that feeling like? Was it like, oh, this is the real deal? Like this is something else? What was your feeling
Well,
like?
you always well, I think they kind of tell you that sort of stuff when you play there and you don't really fully understand it, right?
Yeah,
Um, it really wasn't until, a couple it wasn't really till into the off season when they were still doing their kind of winter tour, their caravan across Canada, and when I actually got a chance to go out and go to different parts of Canada and just see how much the Blue Jays meant to different parts of Canada is when it really kind of hit home to me that, man, you do represent an entire country. When you're in Toronto, yeah, you'll meet people on the street, walking, to and from the stadium or out at dinner or something, and people will come up to you and tell you they're from different parts of Canada, and you're like, okay, y- that's cool, you get it, but I mean, you're so kind of consumed in the area that you're at in Toronto, but it really wasn't until I got out and I went to different parts across
yeah.
the country, and you're like, wow, this is Canada's team. This is the only baseball team they have. They're passionate about them. They understand them. And now that since I've been so many different places in Canada, it's like I fully get it. I mean, it's a big reason why I'm sitting in the back of a truck right now in Moose Jaw.
There you go. It doesn't you can't no not every person who plays in the major league can say that. The 2015, you guys got rolling there, and Game Five. It's not just a Canadian baseball moment, but that Game Five against Texas, that was something else. That seventh inning. At what point did you go, "What the heck is going on here?" Because it was absolute mayhem. The top, the bottom, the half of the inning. How did you try to keep your composure? Because the place was going nuts. Beer cans were flying. Russell Martin had that little throwing area. Like the whole thing was absolute craziness for, I think it was 45, 46 minutes. What was your, what is going on here moment?
I think the moment of calmness came after. Well, no, the first moment of calmness came, after the top half of that inning. We came into the dugout, and guys were pretty adamant about like saying this is not how we're going to lose this game. This is not how we're going to lose this series, right? So I think a little bit of calmness kind of came over me, especially being a younger player, that I had these belief in these older guys that, hey, they told me it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And then ultimately, I think when I scored the run in that inning, I think that's when for at least me, that's when the calmness really happened, because it felt like the slate was clean. Like everything that happened in the top half of the inning with Russ's throwing the ball off the bat and stuff like that felt like, okay, at the very least, the game's tied. We can move on from that, and the better team's going to win. And then ultimately, obviously, Jose hitting the home run changed my life. It changed a lot of people's lives that were in the building. Greatest moment of my baseball career. And yeah, I mean, like you said, it's not just a iconic Canadian baseball moment. It's up there with one of the greatest innings and maybe one of the greatest postseason games of all time.
When, because Gibby was quite the character, like you see him on TV, and he's always the laid back Texan. What was his, after it was all said and done, was he joking about it, laughing about it, or was it like, holy shit, boys, like we got this done? What was his reaction?
Like after the
game.
series, or after the
series,
game, man,
all said and
I
done.
don't even remember. I think it was just mayhem. I think it was just, pure celebration. I don't even really know if we ever kind of talked about that specific moment. Honestly, it's such a blur. Like I remember all the details of the game, but I don't
Yeah.
remember the details of the conversations and stuff. And I don't want to call it like a tradition, but I think when I was having my first daughter and I was in the hospital with my wife and I was sleeping on my little cot and stuff, I think that was the first time I went back. And YouTube has these, great kind of shorter versions of those games, right? So I went and watched all the postseason games, and then I did it with my son when he was born, and then I did it again when my newest daughter was born too. It kind of became a little bit of a tradition. When you're in this hospital room, there's not much you can do. You're up every couple hours. I would just kind of scroll through these videos of the short versions of all these games, just kind of trying to remember all the kind of things that went into it, and just takes me back to a great time in my life. And sometimes it feels like when you retire, it feels like baseball was so you're so far removed from it, and it feels like you almost lived this dream, and I woke up from it and I don't get to do it anymore. So every once
I can't imagine what that whole thing felt like. A couple of days ago, you put something onto Twitter or X, or whatever you want to call it, this week about the balls and strike challenge, and then you said, well, it just makes things a little bit even, and it's not for like the suspect call, but what it worked for the Jays last night in their game. What's your thoughts on the balls and strikes and how that's all going to play out?
Yeah, I love it. I think ultimately we want players to decide the outcome of the game. And for the longest time, whatever the umpire said goes. There was no ability to argue it or challenge it, or, challenge his authority. And it's not meant to, embarrass these umpires, because they have a very difficult job to do. They're making decisions at extremely high speeds with the best pitchers in the world, not knowing what's coming, like the catcher. And they got to do it, 250 to 300 times a night. Like, I understand it's a very difficult job, and it's not even like the calls, even like the one call last night. It's like, okay, that's not an embarrassing thing for an umpire to miss a pitch by fractions of an inch. It's really to police when the umpires felt like they wanted to take the game into their own hand and be like, hey, let's speed this game up and just call whatever they want to call, whether it's 2 or 3 balls off the plate, because, the game's out of hand, or they want to get or we just wanted to have the ability to make sure that, if we felt like a call was wrong, challenge it. And I think it's added a huge layer of entertainment for people in the stadium last night. It was super, super exciting. Obviously, it came at a huge time during the game, but the people's reactions was unbelievable. You could kind of feel the anticipation build a couple of seconds, and then obviously people were really excited with the outcome of the call.
Had some. There's been some rule changes in Major League Baseball over the years, and just some people like them, some people don't. What's one thing that you would, if you were given the magic wand, what's something that you would change in Major League Baseball that would just change the game forever?
Yeah, it's not like a big one because it doesn't necessarily really affect the fans that much and like that game that you see on the field. But someone that's been in the clubhouses for a big part of its life is I think they got to put a limit on how long players can wait for a rain delay. There's nothing like finding out about 6 o'clock that the game's going to get delayed and it's supposed to start at 7, and then next thing you they tell you it might happen, it might not happen, and then you're starting a game at 11:30 at night because they want to get the game in. I just feel like you're not getting the product at that point, and there's a reason they do it. They love to keep the fans in the seats and stuff and buy the concessions. But ultimately, I feel like if they were able to, cap the amount of time that there was on a rain delay, allow the players to get home maybe a little bit earlier at a decent time and maybe just come back and then I guess the contingency to that would be, bring back the 2 7-inning doubleheaders instead of the 2 9s. I think players were all for that. I think it's a better experience for the fans too. I think it's tolerable to probably sit through 14 innings as opposed to 18 innings as fans. There's obviously, ticket prices and gates and stuff like that. Why teams don't want to do it because they're trying to make money, but I think it just is better for the players, and I think it's better for the game.
You'd probably make more money because more people would stick around for the 14 instead of the 18. I agree with you there. Kevin, thanks very much for doing this. We do this thing here at Spit Stadium for Lethbridge Bulls. 3 easy questions. You can't get them wrong. Real simple. Ready to go?
Yeah.
What's the best sandwich?
Oh, wow. Turkey Club.
Any specific place?
Oh, I don't have I don't have a specific place,
Turkey
but
Club.
I mean, yeah.
There, Kevin Pillar's driving down the highway in California. Nobody's with him. Nobody's around him. No one's ever going to know what song is playing there. That might be your guilty pleasure.
More than likely, I'm probably not driving in California. I'll be honest with you, but in Texas, I'm probably. Honestly, I'm weird. I do enjoy music. It's honestly when I'm in the car by myself, I listen to talk radio or I listen to podcasts.
That's pretty much it. And the last one, but not least, we'll get you out of here. Favorite, doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be major leagues. Favorite team, not best teammate, favorite teammate of all time.
Favorite teammate of all time. Probably Brian Goins, probably my best friend that I made in baseball. We kind of made our debut together. We came up in the minor leagues together and still talk to him probably more than any other player.
No, that's fantastic. Kevin, thank you very much for doing this. You've got a very busy schedule, very busy travel schedule today, heading out to Moose Jaw, and we'll see you at the Legend of Canadian Baseball Gala in Lethbridge on the 27th of March.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Okay. We'll see. And what hat size do you wear? We'll get you a Lethbridge Bulls hat.
7 and 8.
There, done deal. We'll see you. We'll see you at the end of May. And once again, thanks very much for doing this.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, take it easy. Bye.
Canada has produced some incredible baseball stories, and this spring, those stories come to Lethbridge. Join us for the Legends of Canada Baseball Gala, featuring one of Canada's most exciting Major League stars, Kevin Pillar. A night of stories, celebration, and Canadian baseball history. Part of the Canadian Grand Slam Baseball Showcase. Reserve your seat now.
Back the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report on Rogers TV and on the Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel. We're joined today by the newest signing for Lethbridge Bulls, McCoy Rippentrop. McCoy, how you doing today, sir?
Good, you?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, how the heck do you become a Lethbridge Bull? You started in South Dakota, and then you're in Kansas, and now you're going to be suiting it up with the Bulls this summer here in Lethbridge.
Yes, sir. My coach down here at Dodge City, it was a big deal for him to help me find a place in the summer, and he helped me with the process, get to Lethbridge Bulls. Coach Bergman reached out to me and got it going from there, and I liked what you guys were doing up there and wanted to come play for you guys.
You made your trip up here to Lethbridge. I guess I was away from the office. I was out at my sister's place, but I guess you made your trip here to Lethbridge last in the wintertime. It was a little bit cold. What was your first impression of Pitt Stadium when you got you came by here?
It was awesome. I really liked the stadium. Got to talk to Nate and looked great. And I think you guys are adding like a new addition to the side there. Can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, it looked great. Liked
That's
Lethbridge. The town looked great.
The biggest thing about the coming out to play WCBL, you're in your first year of junior college right now. What's been your biggest holy cow moment so far coming out of American Legion and high school and everything else? What's been your biggest holy cow moment playing junior college baseball now?
I'd say the only like holy cow moment was like, I don't know, just being ready to play. Like how much you're gonna be. I'm a pitcher, so how much you're gonna be pitching, just like how much you're gonna be throwing, getting your body conditioned. Like in junior college, we're doing lifting practice for a while, and then we got weights, and then like I just wasn't crazy ready coming down here, and I think it helped me in the fall get better, and I'm ready to go now. And that was the biggest holy cow moment. But as far as coaching and like defensive pitching, everything like the side of that, like as far as that went, I think my Legion coaches back in South Dakota really prepared me for that and helped me with that. So I think I was ready coming into that mindset. But as far as getting the body ready, I think that's what the biggest thing helped me with coming down
I
to
was
JUCO.
I was reading your player bio, and you're quite the student. You didn't miss a day of school throughout from kindergarten right through grade 12, and then you ended up getting an academic All-American, American Legion scholarship last year. You're going to have a little problem playing for the Bulls. I think you might be too smart to play for
Yeah.
this team next summer. How do you go to school every day? Like sometimes you just get those I don't want to moments, not just in life, but like every day. Your dad must have been like, you're going. Because there had to
Yeah.
be as a kid, you say, I just don't want it.
Well, I think up until like fifth grade, I just like wanted to go to school. It was fun and get to hang out with your buddies. And I don't know, up until fifth grade, it was always fun for me. Just I don't know, just like the socializing aspect and learning. Like, and then after that, I just like, I'm already this far. I might as well just keep going. And I didn't really get sick very often. If I did, it like always lucked out and it was always on the weekends and be good for school. But up until like freshman year, I just kept, since I'm this far, I might as well just finish it, get perfect attendance, and ended up working out.
I kind of laugh at that because I remember when I was a kid, it's a long time ago with McCoy, but I said, why didn't like going to school? You get to go and hang out with your friends. They'll get you through. You just go and hang out. And there's a
What's been your biggest improvement so far for you this year, going on with things in college?
My biggest improvement, I think, from when I came into the fall, like just coming in, I had to get used to it. A little nervous here and there in the fall games and everything. Just getting used to the environment again, and I lacked a little bit of strikes coming in, and my coaches helped me with that. And I think I've gotten a lot better with that, and just being more competitive and just getting used to the competition, being more competitive with everybody.
Did you have like when you first started to decide, like when you're a young kid, you're athletic and you're growing up in South Dakota, did you play any other sports or were you always just a baseball guy?
Oh yeah, ever since I was in like, I want to say first grade, I started football, wrestling, I played baseball ever since I was 4, so like T-ball, but like the other sports I started when I was first grade, kindergarten, second grade in there. And then basketball. I played all of them up until 8th grade, but like I played on a travel basketball team for a while. It was really fun. And then football, played all throughout then, wrestling, did a lot of wrestling. And up until 8th grade, like for baseball, I wanted to just focus a little bit more on baseball, get a little bit better. And when it came to freshman year, I sat and talked with my coaches at the high school, and they said, like, either we want you committed to our sport or committed to baseball. And I just decided to go with baseball. And I made the trip an hour each way to Rapid City. It was an hour away from where I lived, to either go lift or go get lessons or just go to open facility and just get better. And my senior year, I went out for basketball. I just wanted to like get a little bit more athletic again, have some fun,
Yeah.
and just play again with the guys, and had fun doing that. Played pretty good basketball and went on from there.
Do you now that you're in college, you're in Legion? I'm assuming you got to hit a little bit, but do you miss hitting a little bit?
Yeah, I do. Every once in a while, I miss it a little bit, but I don't know. I kind of just miss hitting a lot of BP. BP was fun hitting, just getting out there and hitting.
Well, this summer you can grab a bat whenever you want. It's
Yeah.
really no holds barred. The coaches do it. I even threatened to grab a bat last summer. I never got around to it. It's been a lot of years since I swung a bat. But baseball, you can talk about guys who've been a big influence. Talk about your Legion coach and everything else. Who's been your biggest influence to get you to where you are today?
I would say my dad is probably my biggest influence. He's pushed me through the ups and downs. He's helped me reset, just talk to me about everything, and he's just always been there for me. Like whatever I need, he's always there, helps me with it, and I don't know, anything I ask, he's always got the answer for, and it's just great to have a guy like that. And if not, we always go talk with my grandpa, and he seems to know just as much too.
The pitchers are a bit odd. They're kind of like hockey goalies. They got their own little thing going on. They're just little quirks and superstitions. What's something that you have to do every time you know you're going to the mound, like or game day superstition that you might have?
Yeah, honestly, in Legion, for some reason, I don't know, my superstition was always like I'd have to wear black socks when I pitch, and if I didn't wear them, I don't know why. I always had to wear black socks, and then before I pitched, I had to listen to a certain song like a couple hours before I go out there, and I think that was probably my biggest two superstitions.
Like you're going to be away from home for your entire college year, obviously, and then you're coming up here to Lethbridge and new country, new surroundings, and everything else. How do you adjust that? Because like you're a kid and you want to do stuff like you're not a kid, but you know what I mean. Is that something you don't really think about, or is just another step in the journey, and it's all just part of it?
Yeah, I don't think about it too much. My dad and my little brother and I, we've traveled everywhere just growing up, and I think I've gotten used to it a little bit. Like being in a small town, we can't really do much, so we're traveling everywhere for baseball, other sports, just other towns, other cities, other places, and we've just traveled so much. I think I've gotten used to it now.
How big is the town you're from?
We only have like 3,000 people from where I'm from.
Yeah, I'm from a town just down the road, and they say there's 3,000, but I don't think there's 3,000. I think maybe all the farmers, everything else around it's kind of there. What has people you talk to about playing summer ball? It's a bit different than college and different American Legion. What do some people talk to you about? You reached out to anybody about what it's going to be like playing summer baseball and coming up to Canada?
I don't think I've talked to a buddy. He went to Utah. His name is Branson Keel. He's went up to I can't remember what. I think it was the West Coast League for up in Washington. I think he played over there. Talked to him a little bit about that, and he said it was a lot different, a lot more fun, and just getting out there, going to have fun, and working on your craft a little bit more. And he said he loved it a lot.
I think the biggest thing that I talk to a lot of guys that come up here, and I've been around this league for a long time, but the biggest adjustment for a lot of the guys is playing in front of crowds. And that's something that, because in college, like a lot of the colleges got junior college and stuff, they don't get big, they don't get huge crowds. You're playing in front of girlfriends and parents. Mainly, it's is that something that maybe, because there's some places they pack them in around this, and our attendance is going to improve this year too. Is that something you think about a little bit, or you get out there and you kind of can just turn it off and not think about the surroundings so much?
I don't think about it too much, but honestly, I prefer pitching in front of the crowds a little bit. I grew up, I wouldn't say huge crowds, but like up at Rapid City where I pitched for Legion, we had a couple hundred fans, I'd say on average, somewhere in there, and then sometimes we get up to like 800 fans. And
really? Right on.
Yeah, it was always a blast pitching in front of them, and I just like the environment, like the culture with the fans, and it just like brings more energy, and I like it. That's like I kind of feed off the energy, and it helps me out a little bit. But if you don't get the fans, it's not a huge deal.
What's your like when you really need to get down and what's your go-to pitch that you might shake the catcher off, or do you shake the catcher off? That's a good question. You're like when you and your catcher are going, and you throw what I'm telling you, because the coach probably call pitch or whatever it might be. But do you ever like what's your go-to, and do you ever go, I don't want to throw that pitch, I should be throwing this one instead?
Yeah, I'd say it kind of depends on like the counts and with the catcher, but if I know the catcher a little bit more, like usually I won't shake him off too much because like sometimes I'll get caught up in the moment. He'll know what's best for me, and I don't know, he'll help me out usually, but I don't know. Sometimes if I do shake the catcher off, it'll be like if I want to go to my slider a little bit more, I'd say sliders, like this pitch I'll shake off most commonly.
What's sliders your go-to pitch? That's the one.
Yeah, I'd say slider or fastball, but just depending on the day.
What's your game day like? What's your routine? Are you like do you eat right and everything is called students?
Oh yeah.
Thing like it's or actually what's your road routine like? Do you have a preset meal? Or you stop on the road to get the gas station, just whatever's there?
Oh yeah, I guess on the road it's a little bit more challenging, but I'll just try to get like I don't know, if we stop at a gas station, I'll try and grab like a protein bar or something like that. Or like actually on the roads, I'll go to Walmart the night before and get all like the necessities that I need, like protein bars. I'll get a couple like body armors and stuff, make sure I get the electrolytes before the game. That's a big thing I like to do. I like to get electrolytes before the game, and then I don't know necessarily, depending on the road, like we don't really, I don't know, depending on the morning game, we don't get much, but it's kind of hard like for food, but I don't know. We'll get some kind of breakfast in, like at the gas station. I don't know whether it's a breakfast sandwich, breakfast burrito. I'll grab one of those.
The real good stuff, hey, like really good.
Yeah.
No, so what are you looking forward to the most, and what should Bulls fans expect to see from McCoy Rippentrop this summer?
Thing I look forward to the most is honestly just getting to work with the coaches and I don't know, just pitching in front of more people. Like I like that a lot more too. And I don't know what they should expect is I don't I don't know. That's a tough question.
Tough one. No, McCoy, thanks a lot for coming on this morning and taking time out of your schedule. We do this thing here at Spit Stadium called 3 Easy Questions. I got 3 easy ones. You can't get them wrong, and they'll get you out of here. Ready to go?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. Number one, what's the best sandwich?
My go-to sandwich is definitely chicken bacon ranch from Subway, and then I'll add some jalapenos and garlic aioli.
Nice. I'm a big jalapeno guy myself too.
Yeah.
The number two, I got them written down here. What's your biggest fear? Or what are you scared of the most?
Ooh, I'd say one of my biggest fears. Actually, I got two, and I don't know. I've always been afraid of snakes. I don't know why. I've just been afraid of snakes, and I'd say the ocean, just like the deep ocean. Like those are probably my two biggest fears.
You don't know what's down there. I'm with you. Like you have no idea. Like the first X amount of feet, then after that,
Yeah.
I don't have a clue. And
Yeah, like possibilities.
Yeah, there's too many possibilities for sure. You only have one teammate that's on your team right now, and you had to spend a week with him locked up in a room. What teammate would it be?
My teammate, I'd probably pick Aiden Allred, just because he can talk your ear off, and the time would go by fast. It wouldn't seem like you were in there for a week.
After a week straight, a guy talking your ear off might get a bit much, though. It might be a bit much.
Yeah.
No, McCoy, thanks a lot for doing this, and we look forward to seeing you here in the end of May, and I'll see if you can't bring the Bulls a championship back to Lethbridge.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much, and we will talk to you in May and see you then.
Sounds
Sharp
good.
in the
Thank you,
front,
sir.
bold in the back. The mullet lives at Dime Barbershop.
This might be our biggest play yet.
The Dime aims to please every customer with friendly greetings and high-quality haircuts.
This summer, there's only one place to be, and that's Spit Stadium.
You can sit here. Or here. You can sit here. Or here.
Or even here. But not here. Get your tickets now at bullsbaseball.com and come experience Bulls baseball all summer long. It's going to be unbelievable.
All right, the Bullhorn back up and running on Rogers TV and on the Maple Leaf Baseball Network's YouTube channel. Joined once again for Kevin's Corner by President and General Manager of Lethbridge Bulls, Kevin Kvame. How you doing today, Kevin?
I'm doing all right, Brent.
Yeah, we got a little different look this week. There's some renovations happening, I guess we could say, around the Lethbridge baseball world. But we'll leave it at that. Doing the Bullhorn from the home office, and you're back at the office there at Spitz Stadium. Hope springs eternal. Spring training's all done. The clock sprung ahead. We got the seasons are changed, and now we got. Opening day was a couple of days ago, and baseball's here in full force. It's always good this time of year, isn't it?
Yeah. You got the start of the Major League season. Easter's right around the corner. Always means the Masters. So yeah, it's a spring has sprung here in southern Alberta, and I guess that's great, and also a bit scary because that means the season is rushing like a freight train right toward us. So, but it's going to be a great season.
Yeah, we're less than 60 away now, I think, or we could be right on 60 time we're recording this. But it's an exciting time always. It's baseball. It'll happen. We'll have some hiccups here and there, but we're really trying to improve a lot of things. You look around what's happening around just baseball in general and how it's become. I don't want to go as far as saying a business, but it's a bit of a business, and the way things kind of work. And people want they want to be get their dollars worth for everything that they do, whether it's go to a movie or to a baseball game or just going for a bite to eat. The Bulls do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't realize to get into the season. What's a couple of those things that you can divulge into a little bit before we get too far in front of our skis?
Well, I think one of the things that I can kind of let everybody in on right now is something we've been working at with the City of Lethbridge and Tourism Lethbridge, and that is calling Lethbridge Baseball's home. And they're going to launch a campaign here, so the local citizens will be seeing it. But the target market is well beyond Lethbridge, and just celebrate what baseball has meant to this city since its founding days back in the 1800s. So this is going to be a unique campaign. The Bulls are 100% behind it, and we're really enjoying working with our partners at the City of Lethbridge and Tourism Lethbridge and our other baseball organizations in the community.
That's one thing that we have over a lot of places in the country is that we're blessed with the wind, I guess, at times, so it dries things up. But we can play baseball in Lethbridge for a lot more months out of the year than most provinces, for sure. I mean, BC notwithstanding, but in certain parts of British Columbia. What makes the Lethbridge so unique? Not just the climate, but what we got going on, not just with the Bulls, but just baseball in general.
We have a long storied history in baseball in this community and southern Alberta. Part of the, that prairie, small town, Alberta or Saskatchewan environment where the baseball was part of your summer activities. You went to the ballpark and celebrated community. And, that aligns very well with all of our organizations that we have in baseball. I mean, one of Little League's core values or core foundational pieces is community, in addition to fun and inclusion and hard teamwork and integrity. So, I mean, those are great values that Little League portrays, but it can transcend the entire sport to what it means. And community is what we're celebrating with this campaign. They said a lot of research was done, and we tried to figure out when baseball actually started in Lethbridge. And the story goes that in October of 1885, the community of Coalbanks was renamed Lethbridge after a philanthropist businessman, William Lethbridge, and he had started a coal industry in the city and a big employer and all that, and they decided to name Lethbridge after him. And we found out 2 months later that on a unseasonably, but more so, maybe not so unusual in southern Alberta, warm Christmas afternoon, the community of Lethbridge assembled at the square, which is now Galt Gardens, and played baseball. So Christmas Day 1885 is the earliest recollections of baseball in Lethbridge, and has been
I didn't know that.
Staple in the community ever since.
So this global warming thing's been happening for a while. No, I'm kidding. No. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you think about that, you don't think about how far baseball goes back, and then it's in the community. That's a great story. I didn't know that. Now I learned something today. It's a great thing. Like, you talk about the community and about how baseball was a part of it, and it's kind of gotten away from that a little bit. And I don't want to harp on the negative at all on this like Sunday afternoon. Do you think it's because baseball has gotten away from that? There's no doubt about that. You read all over everywhere, and it's not just Lethbridge or Alberta or Canada or United. It's all over everywhere. Is it possible to get back there, to leak there a little bit, to get back into that, where it could get back into more of a community-driven sport compared to more of a corporate thing they got going on today?
I think it starts with the people involved in the game, and understanding exactly what we're trying to achieve out of it. And the fun part about it, I think we've kind of tried to get away from too. A lot of things can be improved upon if you bring people together and have conversations about what the needs of the baseball player is. And the needs of the baseball player can vary depending on who that baseball player is. I mean, the Lethbridge Bulls have, a very elite level of player for the community that they're trying to improve their game in a summer, but also entertain fans from the community and make them appreciate the game of baseball from a fan standpoint. And then you go right down to that entry-level T-baller that probably doesn't know the bat from the ball very much, some of them, when they first starting, and all they want to do is be out there with some buddies and have some fun and maybe learn a few skills along the way. And I think that, it is achievable if we focus in on the priorities that should be established, and not just focus in on just one level of the play.
It can all blend together. Because when I had during this episode, had Kevin Pillar on, he was talking about how this was the first time in that he can remember that he wasn't going to be putting a uniform on an opening day, whether it be for T-ball or Little League or whatever it might be, into the major leagues. But he got a chance to watch his son do it this year for the first time, and he said that was pretty cool. So it can all blend together, and it doesn't have to be this great big massive thing all the time. It can just be grassroots, a kid playing for the first time, and then a person who's Kevin Pillar, who's a baseball superstar, and if he can see that, and I don't see why the rest of the world can't see it a little bit, and put on the rose-colored glasses, I guess. But it should be just that simple.
Well, I've watched it for years, and it is amazing. And I'm not going to paint everyone with the same brush, but there is a lot of there are a lot of dads that have played baseball, and now they're coaching their sons, and it becomes an expectation, and it almost is reality coming to truth, that those ball players that are now coaching, their sons are the better ball players on the teams, because dads are out working with them in the backyards and going out to the park on the weekends and just enjoying the game. And now we have to introduce that game that not everybody has a dad that was into baseball. Maybe he was into golf, or worked hard, or had two jobs, or whatever the case may be. And we want that young fella to enjoy the game as well. So it's important that we remember all of those things as we build a community around the ballpark.
The city of Lethbridge's been around, snooping around. They're doing some looking. Where we got some expansion ideas and things, stadium improvements ideas that are happening. Having the city behind you, it's a really good thing to have them jump on board and figure things out and try to make things better, for not just for the Bulls and Spitz Stadium, but for the baseball community in general.
Yeah, I mean, the Bulls are obviously a benefactor of support of the city. We want to give back to the community as well. So we're working on ways that we can contribute back into the stadium or the community through events and maybe this festival is coming up, tournaments that we can help with, and then put on a really quality product for our 28 home games this year. We want to make the place fun. We want to make it a place for kids to go out and feel safe at the ballpark and have fun with their buddies and cheer the Bulls on and high five some of our players after the game and all that kind of stuff that just makes a ballpark a place to feel like home, I guess is going back to our theme that we're coming up with.
Yeah, like we bounce ideas or eat off each other's coconuts all the time, and what's got to happen, and then everybody you talk to, you know what I would do, everybody has an idea and a thought what they would do, and you had $40 million, that's pretty easy to do, but it's not the way things kind of work. But what's a couple things that you've been around since its inception, so going 27 years now, what's something that works and something that we need to improve on with the Bulls and the organization and the stadium but something what's one thing we need to improve on for sure going into the 2026 season?
I think that one of the things that we're really focused in on for this year is really trying to put a good experience on for the fans. And that experience isn't necessarily that hard to put on if we train our staff about what's important. And what I mean by that is that, it's been very frustrating for, off and on for a number of years about our food services and our catering to the clientele on our patios, and we're just not consistent. So we want to build that consistency up with the staff we have, and we're really excited about our managerial staff at the concessions, and a new introduction that we've done is a outdoor patio and suite manager that is going to look after that clientele and make sure that they have their food and their refreshments and if there's any needs they have other than that, making sure they participate in the games we have on the field for the fans, and just make sure their experience at the ballpark is memorable, and a positive memorable one, not a negative memorable one.
Like the people that I talk to, and they're calling for group bookings and things like that, it's quite like you talk to the season ticket holders, it's one conversation about who's coming back and who the players are, how's the team looking, and then you get into the group sales, it's one thing, but then you get into the corporate sales, they don't know who they're playing, they don't know and it's not their fault, it's just how the different levels of baseball fans are, whether we're the Lethbridge Bulls or the Toronto Blue Jays. It's how things are.
The clientele there is looking for more a date that they want to have an event, and they don't really they know they want to be at a ball game.
I wouldn't even say the game is secondary. It's almost thirdary there, Kevin. It's the way it goes through the conversations, and it's fine. They want to come and have a good time, and I think we're offering some pretty good things for these people that are hey, this is going to be a good experience for sure, and it's something that's pretty exciting for the 2026 season.
Yeah, so I mean those are the types of things that I am trying to champion here at the stadium this year, is make sure that whether it's our maintenance staff or our concession staff or our patio staff or our game day staff, our people welcoming them into the ballpark, all of that kind of stuff. Our players, being more welcoming to the fans. We want to engage them a little bit more with the fans. So all that kind of stuff gives the people attending Bulls games an experience. And, it doesn't cost the $40 million that maybe some of the ideas that are out there you talked about, but it is something we can do within our means and really try to elevate the experience at the ballpark to something everybody will appreciate and want to come back to. And, if we can bring them back several times during the year, that's going to, make the place feel fuller. And when the place is fuller, the Bulls are more excited. And, I would say it transcends into, a win or two during the year just because of the fans. I mean, our record on Canada Day is fairly amazing over the years, and that goes to show what happens when we have a full house. There's football teams in the States that they have 11 mans on the field, but they call it the 12th man field, and it is truly because of the fans cheering and their loudness and energy that they put into the place.
Yeah, I've said it before to people, like they, oh, this is fun, this is great. I said, yeah, the only difference is after the game on Canada Day, there's fireworks. It's the same game, it's the same show, but there's more people there because nothing draws a crowd like a crowd. I mean, it's the same game, the same music, but just more people make it better, and that's what we're trying to get to. Go down the road 3 or 4 years or 5 years, or whatever it might be, and we're like, it's a process, and no getting around things change. I mean, how many years ago the Bulls didn't have a video board, right? And so it's just things have changed over the years and gotten progressively better, obviously. In 3 to 5 years, president, owner, and general manager, what's a perfect Lethbridge Bulls game look like?
I think a perfect Lethbridge Bulls game is not a lot different than it is now, but there are more people in the stands, and are necessarily the little issues that come up each year are minimized, and it becomes almost a complete rinse and repeat because that was so good. The experience, the staffing, their belief in the club is important to the staff we bring in too. Like, we want people that want to be here and want to be part of the Bulls organization and contribute to the success of the team. And we are getting better at it, and we still have a little bit more ways to go. I think we're going to go up a couple notches this year. We'll see if there's a couple more notches we can go up over the next 3 to 5 years. And we do have some improvements in mind and ideas to kind of get the park, basically, organized and even more attractive for more people to come into. So that's kind of where we're going.
Well, it's pretty exciting times to be a part of, for sure. Just gotta get over the hump and make them fruition. That's good. Kevin, I gotta jump out here. I got another baseball meeting. You got another baseball meeting. But once again, thank you as always for joining us for Kevin's Corner here on the Maple Leaf Baseball TV Network's YouTube channel and on Rogers TV. Thank you very much, Kevin. And hey, I'll take a few extra doses, and we'll see you at the office tomorrow morning.
All right, take care, Brent.
All right, we'll talk later. Bye now.
Canada has produced some incredible baseball stories, and this spring, those stories come to Lethbridge. Join us for the Legends of Canada Baseball Gala, featuring one of Canada's most exciting Major League stars, Kevin Pillar. A night of stories, celebration, and Canadian baseball history. Part of the Canadian Grand Slam Baseball Showcase. Reserve your seat now.
That's it. Another edition of the Bullhorn Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report on Rogers TV and on the Maple Leaf Baseball Network YouTube channel. Thank you very much to McCoy Rippentrop, Kevin Kvame, and of course Kevin Pillar for joining us today. And Kevin, we look forward to seeing you all, seeing you on the 27th of May for the Canadian Legends of Baseball Gala. Should be a great time at the Sandman Signature. Get your tickets today. The link's up on the we'll have it up on this on the website, and it's also we'll have it on all our social media and everywhere else. And you can always go to customer.service or customer care at Under Lights, or Brent at Under Lights. We'll find a way to hook you up with some tickets. It'd be a real fun night. Got a lot going on. Some special things going to happen that are unannounced as of yet and won't be announced till that night. So you won't want to miss out on that. Silent auction, live auction, and all that fun stuff to make money for kids sport, and as well as for say a baseball facility improvements right across Lethbridge and Southern Alberta. So we're really excited about the Canadian Legends of Baseball Gala at Sandman Signature, and along with the Canadian Grand Slam Baseball Showcase and Festival, Bull season opener, and it's all coming at us really quick. We're less than 60 days away at the time we're recording this, so get ready to have a lot of fun down at Smith Stadium this Bull season. Get your horns up. You know, to do it with my left hand today, not my right, but we'll talk about that. We'll laugh about it someday. Anyways, there it is, the Lethbridge Bulls Baseball Report on Rogers TV and on the Maple Leaf Baseball Network. Have yourselves a great week, and we will talk to you again very soon.
For sponsorship opportunities with the Bulls, email partnerships@bullsbaseball.com. All Lethbridge Bulls home and away games can be seen live on Flow College. Are you a Bull-liever? Want to be part of the Bulls in 2026? We're now recruiting volunteers for media, game day ops, and more. Join the herd today.